Welcome to Wagon Building on Farming Simulator 25. A moneymaker or a bit of a gimmick? With me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video I'm going to be looking at Wagon Building, the Wagon Builder as a production. What are our options? How does it work? How long does it take? Is it worth bothering with? Is it just a little bit of a gimmick? The piano manufacture, the boat building, those kind of things all worked out quite well. What's the difference between doing it when you don't own the building and doing it when you do own the building? We're going to be looking at all those things. We're going to look at the various different facets. Now, what's going to help this process massively at the moment is the liftable pallets and bales pack mod by Yoss. Because I'm going to be buying stuff from the warehouse, but we are going to look at some other different options. And the thing about these, that they're repeatable. Any of the productions are repeatable, and a lot of people will always argue, or will argue, not always, but will argue that the cost of buying productions is prohibitive to making enough money. The thing about it is the cost of buying productions, and I've said it on lots and lots of videos, on lots and lots of Let's Plays, it's supposed to be an investment in the future. Something that if you ran that then for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, in-game, if you were going to do that, you would reap the reward, you would make your money back in no time whatsoever, all would be good in the world. If you're going to do a production and only run it for a very short period of time, it doesn't always work out as well. Some pay out better than others. That's what we're going to be looking at. Someone messaged me the other day to ask if there was an option to lease productions and production buildings. There's not. You can, in some situations on some maps, sell the production buildings back. Not always, but you can. You only get half your money back if you do. But yeah, leasing would be quite a good option. Take it on as a temporary lease to run it, maybe. But again, I suppose that's where all the extra money comes in. So we are here at the Wagon Builders. Now, it's only on Riverbend Springs at the moment. If we come down and we look at our map, it's positioned right here, nestled between field 25 and field 30, just there. So that is where we are located. If we come over and if we've got our field info screen on bottom right, it will tell us what's required: planks, long, fabric, rope. Now, with some of the constructibles that I've done already, it started off showing you what you needed initially, and that's what the materials are missing for the initial part of the build. But then there were other things that required as you went along. What's nice about this on FS25, and especially with the productions compared to the constructibles, kind of, is if we go into this menu and we come up to our production chains that are available, we can now see in-game on the map each production that's available on the map, ones that are available, ones that we own. And the great thing is it shows us the recipe, it shows the things that are needed and the amounts that are needed to produce. So you can already work out what you're going to require before going into it. So you're not going in blind, which is really nice. So the Wagon Builder just there, we don't own it yet, nothing like that at all. So status, it says running. It shouldn't be running, I haven't got anything in there. But recipe for the wagon, 8,400 planks long, 2016 fabric and 1008 rope will give you one wagon. Now, the problem with that is if you are going to buy pallets, or even if you're going to produce your own pallets, each one is beyond a certain full one. So our fabric is 2016, so it's just over 2 full pallets. You're going to need a third. With the rope, it's just over 1 pallet, so you're going to need a second. So if you're going to buy them from the warehouse, that makes it a little bit more expensive. However, it does mean that you should, and again, we'll be testing this because on some of the productions, things have disappeared. So if I put in 3 pallets of fabric and if I put in 2 pallets of rope, technically, there should be some left over for the next wagon build. But will there be? So we're going to have a look at that as well. Because I'm curious. I don't know how long it takes. This is if you've done these already and you've been running them already, the game's been out nearly a month. And I've been kind of going through Let's Plays and mod reviews and map tours and various different guide videos. And, you know, this is my first sort of getting to it and having a look at it, and having that pack out by Yoss will make this much easier. Now, obviously, what's required: planks, long, fabric, and rope, which means on the map we have also got a spinnery, which will be what will make our fabric. So you're going to need, if you're going to make it yourself, you're going to need cotton or wool or both, and a spinnery. You're also going to need a sawmill because you're going to need planks long. Now there's one on the map, which we'll talk about in a moment, so that will be for planks long. You're also going to need the rope maker, again cotton or wool, and producing rope. If you're going to do it yourself, if you want to go to the warehouse, you can. Like I say, we are going to talk about that momentarily. So those are the ones that are available on the map. Prices for these on the map are, for the sawmill, it's 300,000 to buy the sawmill that's on the map already. For the rope maker, it's 300,000 to buy, and the spinnery is 180,000. But we do also have some other options if you don't want to get the ones that are on the map. So if we come out of here and we go into our build mode, and we're in our factory section now, we do have some placeable ones. So if you don't want to use the ones that are already on the map, there are some placeables, larger ones and smaller ones, depending your budget and depending on what you go for. There isn't a miniaturized rope maker. So you'd have to pay 300,000 regardless for the rope maker. So that thing of then, is it worth you doing if you're only going to do it for wagon building? If you're going to do it for wagon building and you're going to sell the rope, or maybe use the rope for whatever else you might want to be using it for, is it worth doing? That's what you've got to weigh up on your prices, and that's why we're going to buy. I'm going to get stuff from the warehouse because I want to see, if you get stuff from the warehouse, is there any profit to be made in it if we just bring the stuff before we own it? Because if it's like the roller coaster, you didn't make any money when it was finished. You made money when you were delivering products to it. So I'm assuming that's going to be the same with this until you own it. Once you own it, once the wagon is finished and sells, you should get the full amount of money. As far as my mind works, that's how it's going to work. But like I said, we are going to test that. So if we scroll down these, and you'll see the various different options available. So we've got our sawmills. These are placeable. So, and again, 300,000, same as the one that's on the map already. Or we've got the smaller sawmill, the wood miser. Now that's fine because that will do planks long, which is what we need. That doesn't do prefab walls, but we don't need that for the wagon builder. So you could get one for 150 grand if you wanted to. We've got our spinnery there. Again, 180 grand. The one that's on the map already is 180 grand. The rope maker, again, there's a placeable, 300 grand. That's the same price as the one that's on the map already. And then we come down to the smaller versions, which are these here, 36 grand. Now we can, if I find it, we can do a sawmill, 36 grand. That will do planks long. It will take longer to produce those planks long, but you can do it if you've got time and you want a cheaper alternative. We can also do a spinnery, also 36 grand, which will produce our fabric. Like I said earlier, there's not a rope maker in the small factories, so you would still have to have a 300,000 pounds, euros or dollars rope maker. So those are your options with regard to buying and placing. Now we're not deep diving into the recipes of those and that kind of thing. Just to know, I think it's 10 times less. So from the larger size ones to those smaller 36 grand ones, it's it's 10 times less is the sort of the recipe or the cycles per month. It will take you longer using the smaller ones. I mean, that's kind of how it works. So our other option then is if we go back to our map and we come out and we go to here, we've got a warehouse on the map. So that's our other option. So if you don't want to go down the route of doing it yourself, obviously once you've got those productions, you're going to need cotton, you're going to need wool if you're going to do the spinnery or the rope making. If you're going to do the sawmill, having the sawmill is fine, but you're also going to do forestry to get the wood, to take it to the sawmill to produce the thing. So if you don't want to do all of those things, that's fine because this has been put in place. So if we click on this and we visit the warehouse, so our options. So again with this, what's great with the liftable pallets and bales pack by Yoss is that it works with the base game inbuilt warehouses. So if we go into our warehouse here, you'll see our rope. So and it's expensive. It's not cheap to buy the stuff outright. So if you don't want to go to hassle, it's cheaper than buying a $300,000 factory, or having to buy two $300,000 factories, or one at 300,000 and two at 36 grand. It's cheaper, but can you make that money back? That's the question. So our rope there, 26,180. There's our planks long. Now, planks long, we need just over 8,400, which means we're going to need 9 pallets 9 pallets, 45,252. Then from our planks long, we need fabric, which is a couple of long, I think. There we go. Our fabric, now we only need 3 of those because it's just over 2,000 litres, 2016. 3 of those will be 31,104. So again, producing it yourself, once you've got cotton and wool and you're running your sheep and all those things are chucking away, those things are, I say, a constantly running thing, but fairly constant to a degree. Buying them is expensive, so you weigh up what your alternative is. Now, to buy all of that, which I have done, and I've put it onto a trailer just here, and again, liftable, which has made my life a little bit easier. All of that will make 1 wagon. All of that, buying it from the warehouse, has just cost me 102,536 to buy all of that. So when I take this up to the wagon builder now, and we deliver it, like, to my mind, it's going to work like the roller coaster. It should take all of that and pay me for it. It will run through the process of building a wagon, but I don't think I will get the money from that at the end because I won't own it. We'll still see a wagon being built, but I'll be paid for the stuff that I've delivered. If I buy the wagon builder and bring all of this stuff, I'll put it in and I won't get paid for putting the stuff in, but I will get paid for the wagon coming out the other end. And again, is it worth doing, especially if you're doing it this way? So I'm going to take this stuff up to the wagon builder now. We're going to put it in and see what we get for all of this. If it's less than 102,536, then it really is not worth your while buying it from the warehouse. It's not going to work out. But it could work out if we own the wagon builder. And we've got to look at the price of the wagon builder, because I didn't look at that when we get up there. We'll look at the cost of the wagon builder, because that's got to be factored in. How many wagons are you going to have to make then to recover your money? So all of these things we're going to be checking out. I'll see you up there in a minute. So next step in the process then, this is where we drop our stuff off on the downside. Up there was where we were a little while ago, so we should bring it all in here and we'll see what the situation is as we bring it all in. Straps off. Oh, 59,020 is what we got paid for everything. So we've answered our first question. If we don't own it, what did that just come up with? Oh, hang on, that was a whole load more. 18,000 and something. So that was... I'm going to have to go back to the editing to double check. When I edit this, it will come up, because I just took that as the final price. That certainly doesn't look like it's coming at 102,000, but I will double check it, and we'll work out what the total is we just got paid for all of that. I don't think it's 102 grand. So is it worth our while buying from the warehouse and bringing it here to make a wagon? My initial impression is no. I wouldn't have thought so. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go head up the hill, and what we're going to do is sort of check out while we're here the price of the wagon builder. What does it cost to buy it as a production? And then once this is run through, because the next thing to check as well is how long does it take to build a wagon? If it's a repeatable process, that's great. Have we got anything there at the moment? Nothing is showing. So what we'll do, we'll speed up time and we'll see what happens for the wagon build. I'm assuming it will still build it. Buy wagon builder, how much is that going to cost us? 425 grand. So that's what you've got to be asking yourself. If we've just made, and I'd like to say that should have already come up on the screen, by delivering stuff here, if we own it and then we build the wagons and we get paid a decent chunk, how many wagons are we going to have to make before we've paid off the building and we're into profit? That's what we're going to be looking at. I mean, I would say, I would think so, but again, it's just a rough guess at the moment. We'll see how this all pans out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed up time, and let's see what happens. So the coach disappeared. We are left with some stuff which we thought we would be. We were hoping we would be. It built the whole coach up. Now, because I don't own the building, I can't go past this line. So I couldn't get in there to get a better angle on it. We are into the 7th month because we didn't start building it until late in the day. So it's about 7 months. We haven't gone into the 8th month to build the coach. When that coach disappeared, we didn't earn any more money. We didn't get paid anything, which I didn't think we would. We've lost 24,770 on that deal if we buy from the warehouse. Turn that off actually now. Let's do that. Put that away. So if we buy from the warehouse, we're down 24,770. So the next test is going to be, we're going to do the same process, but we're going to buy the building first. We should be able to go inside the building. I'm pretty sure the cones disappear, because once we own it, we can go inside and we should get a better angle. I'm assuming it's still going to take 7 months, so I'll roll through again. It depends how much of it I sped up and, you know, what we saw. But I'll do the same thing again, because I'd rather get a better angle on it being produced. And then we'll see what happens when it sells, because if it sells for less than 102,536, then yeah, getting resources in the warehouse is a no-go, which means you've got to go through the process of getting productions, but then you've got that inherent extra cost that we've talked about already of buying the production in the first place, then also having the fields to do your cotton or having your sheep to do your wool, which means you've got to have the fields then for feed for those if we're going to be doing the rope as well. And obviously, if we're going to do the sawmill, then you need to have an area with some forest. You need to be able to cut down the trees. So there's all those inherent costs. So we're going to see now the same process, but having bought the facility first. And we'll see what we get paid for a finished wagon doing the same process. Right then, we have a reset. Let's go and buy it. 425 grand, and we should. Oh, that's. See, that's curious, because if we've just bought that building, I know when Giants put out some of their stuff, which was pretty cool. We can, you know, this is where the resources comes in. I'm curious. Yeah, when they put up some of their videos, there was a video of the wagon building, but from inside the building. And I just assumed that once we owned it, if we go into our menu here, we go down to our factories, there you go. So the wagon builder's owned its house now. Maybe when we turn that on, it's saying it's running. Yeah, it's not giving me an option to switch that on. It's either running or it's not. So once it's got resources, it will run. Interesting though that what it's saying that it requires for the production, 8,400, 2016 and 1008, it does also show you that the facility will hold way more than that. So you can store stuff up and then you can, you know, just keep that stocked up and that will run from wagon to wagon to wagon, wagon to wagon to wagon. Cycles per month is low, isn't it? I'm only on 1 day months, that's why I said it's 7 months I ran through. That's annoying. I really honestly thought that we'd be able to get in there, because we're not going to get a decent view on that, are we? That's frustrating, to say the least. Anyway, right, let's put the stuff in. So, because we own the facility, we don't get paid. We're not dropping the stuff off to a facility that's already running. We own it, so all the resources that are now in there are what are going to be required for building our wagon. We won't now get paid until the wagon's complete and comes out the other end. So what I've got to do again this time is run through probably another 7 months. I'm not going to, if I can't go inside to get a better angle on it, I think what I will probably do is not do a sped up. I might just probably jump the months this time. I just can't get a decent enough. I just want to be in there. I want to be stood in there looking across at it to get a better angle on the build. Maybe do it from there. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Otherwise you just miss out. You can't see it. And if it sells immediately, it's not like it rolls out of the production, because I know they showed initially all the images. I'm just yeah, like I say, my mind is going through the process here. Is it going to be like the boat building? Because we've got the finished article here, which is, you know, it's lovely. We can see a finished article. Will it? I mean, that's fixed in place. That's one that's there as a. I mean, I suppose, yeah, that's what it looks at. It's not like with the boat building where it rolls out or anything. These doors don't open. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit disappointed. This is the sort of angle you want, because otherwise you don't see all of this. What's the point of the wagon building if you can't see this being built? Unless I'm missing something glaringly obvious. But there's definitely no other way of getting into that building. These doors won't open. Whilst we can get in here, none of these open. You can't even really, I mean, peer in through the dirty windows. No. I wonder why that's there then. If that's now not giving me any option. Anyway, right, I will speed up time and we'll see what happens. So, we are in the 7th month. We are not far off. I think all of these just go under the 1,000, bottom right. The wagon will be done. Like I say, I'm assuming it will just vanish and we'll get paid. The things I do to get the shots, I couldn't get inside this building. So what I did, I drove the tractor right up next to the wall, then exited the tractor, and it put me in this position. So I left it. So I managed to get the build from this angle. I know, you're welcome. So what we're going to do now is speed up time again. So I mean, that's pretty much it done with all the ironwork and the leather work and all the stuff, and it looks great. That's the angle we couldn't see. And this is the frustrating thing. Yes, we can go and look at the one outside, but if you want to do the wagon building, it has to be a problem, a mistake, surely, because when I did the was it the map tours, or I was doing some of the stuff, and I went out to the logging camp and the carpentry there, where you can build the play equipment. Once I bought the building, I could get inside the building, but before I couldn't. But I don't understand why we can't, because otherwise you've only got the rear view of it. Anyway, all that being said, so 425 grand plus the 102,536 for the resources, 527,536. So what we're going to see is when this does sell, if it's less than 102 grand, then it's no good with buying resources. You've got to go down the route of productions. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it to make any profit, and to make that profit is going to take quite a long time. It's a cool thing to build, don't get me wrong. It's like a lot of the productions. It's more cooler to do the production than necessarily the money made. Once we start getting modded stuff coming out, that's generally speaking when you get the some of the more quirky mods, or the mods with higher production speeds or higher cycles per month, where you can actually make good money because you're producing a lot of something. The base game stuff, it's more about the about doing it. So let's just speed up time. We're about to go under. We have done planks long. It's now fabric and rope. And the problem is that will just suddenly go dong and just disappear. But I can't remember what time of day it did it before. Each of these, I mean, for you it'll be a sped up thing, but it's taken about half an hour, 7 months, half an hour of actual leaving it running at 360. There's the back section going on. That's used a lot more of the planks long this time. Was it down to 600 last time? I'm trying to remember. That's curious. (2:30 in the afternoon, nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We started around this time of day, didn't we? There we go. It's gone. Oh dear, is that 99,900? It is. Okay, so, and there is the answer to your question. Am I stuck in here now? Yeah, look, I'm stuck. So I'd have to go. So I did manage to do it though. Oh, I didn't realise I was like that. Could have come right the way across. I now can't get out. I have to enter the vehicle. There we go. Yeah, that's what I had to do so I could get inside the building for that shot. So, yeah, we still you can't make a profit by buying the resources. It's got to be done through productions and your production chains, running a sawmill, buying the rope maker. Unless you get any discounted stuff at any point, it's just not viable because you'll never eat into that. Yeah, because we're down on buying the resources, so you'd lose £3 on every carriage you built, on every wagon you built, if you do it buying resources. So there you go. It was just interesting. I was curious to see how it would work, what it would look like, how long it would take, and to check on those situations. And it has answered the question. If anyone else is wondering, if anyone's thinking about doing it, it is cool. It looks cool, but you are going to need to have a sawmill, a spinnery. You're going to have to do the rope making, which is again 300 grand. It's not cheap for the buildings. So when you start looking at it like that, so what would that be? 300 grand for the rope maker, 36 grand each. If you did the two small ones, I mean that's what 372 plus the 425 grand on this. That's a lot of money, and you're making just under 100,000 each one. So before you even break even, you've got to make what, 10 wagons? That's a lot of resources. At 7 months each build. Yeah, I don't know. Take from that what you will, but that is wagon building. That's what it looks like. That's what it's going to require. It's going to require some perseverance, some work. I mean, like I say, it could have worked out that buying the stuff from the warehouse was an absolute no-brainer. Even if you'd only made, I don't know, if it had worked out that way, that maybe you earn 120 grand for each one, making a profit of maybe, I don't know, 17, 18 grand per one buying stuff. You think, oh, that's not, you know, it's 7 months of work, of putting in, I say work, you just leave it to run while you're doing other things. And every now and again you'd make 20 grand, but you don't. Whichever way around you're looking at doing that way, you're making a loss. Anyway, I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.